I would like to talk to you today about the art of improvising, playing lead, or just playing melodies in general. In my opinion, there are three basic or three essential elements that are most important when learning to play lead guitar or melodies or improvising. Those three elements are the arpeggio, the major scale, and the blues scale. So let's talk first about the arpeggio. So what is an arpeggio? An arpeggio is really rather simple. It's just a fancy word for something very simple. What it is, it's the notes of a chord. For example, you may know this chord right here. It's a G. The third, it's just like an F. I know most of us know F. The G is on the third fret. It's just like an F chord. Okay? So, when you play those notes together, you have a chord. When you play them separately, individually, you have an arpeggio. So the arpeggio is the notes of the chord. Okay. Now, the second element is the major scale. Now, we have all heard in elementary when the music teacher sings, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Well, that is a major scale. And the G major scale starts right here with your pinky on the fourth string, fifth fret, and you're going to walk through do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Now we give these notes number names: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We call those numbers intervals of the major scale. First interval, second interval, third interval, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. Now I said the arpeggio is the first element that is the most important. Well, the arpeggio is nothing but several notes out of the major scale. In fact, what they are the odd numbers. 1, 3, 5. We're not going to talk about the seventh right now, but the 1, 3, 5 creates a major chord or a major arpeggio. So really the first two elements, the arpeggio and the major scale, have some notes in common. The third element is the blues scale. The blues scale sounds like this. Now, if I compare the blues scale to the major scale, I find that the blues scale has the root, as the major scale does. When I say root, that's the first note of the scale. It has a flat third. In other words, flat means lower. And so the major scale has a third, the blues scale has a flat third. So the blues scale has a 1, flat third, also has the fourth note of the scale. It has a flat 5, a 5, and a flat 7, and then back to the 1, the root of the octave. Now, so I'm going to ask myself, what notes do the major scale and the blues scale have in common? Well, the answer to that is they both have a 1, the root, they both have a 4, and they both have a 5. So then I ask myself, what is unique about the blues scale? The blues scale has 3 notes that the major scale does not have. Those 3 notes are the flat third, the flat 5, and the flat 7. Okay. Those 3 notes are called the blue notes. They are called the blue notes because they are unique to the blues scale, and they also have a blues sound. Okay, so when improvising, what I do is I think about that chord shape. And this is a very common thing amongst guitar players. Well, think about this G chord, that arpeggios. Now, the arpeggios is like gravity. They pull everything to it. And the arpeggios always sound right. They can't sound wrong. For example, if I'm playing a song in G, if I hit those notes will not sound wrong. Now, the other notes that are not, so what we do is we take that arpeggio and we're going to add those other notes we talked about. The notes of the major scale and the 3 blue notes. So when improvising, what you do is you just think about that chord shape, that G chord shape, arpeggio, and add those notes that are not in the arpeggio, that are either in the major scale or the 3 blue notes. For example, I have a 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4. Add the 4 or the 6, the 7. You see, I'm just playing the major scales. All I'm doing is just variations on it. But I'm taking that scale and that arpeggio, adding the notes of the major scale. Now I'm going to add the note, and now I'm going to do that, and I'm going to add the blue notes also, the flat third. See that flat third? Sounds very bluesy, but it wants to come back to that major arpeggio. They always want to come home to the arpeggio. 1, flat 3, 3, 1, 3, 5, 6, back to 5, 2, 1, 4, 3. Always want to come back to that 1, 3, 5, because that's safe. So when improvising, playing lead, what I do is I take the G chord, the arpeggios, add the blue notes, call the notes of the chord, the notes of the major scale. So all that is nothing but the major arpeggio, the 3 blue notes, flat third, flat 5, flat 7, and the other notes of the major scale, the 2, 4, 6, and 7 that we left out of the arpeggio. Anyway, that's a little lesson on how to improvise and play melody, play lead guitar. I hope that helps, and if you have any questions, feel free to email me. Thank you.